Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Rio Grande Center for Spiritual Living. We're so glad you're here with us today. And to start, we're going to cuddle up with some Ricky Byers here. Our topic for today is about health, and we know a lot of our friends are having health concerns right now. So, this very special song is for you.
Health, wholeness, and happiness. Health, wholeness, and happiness. Praise the good and raise the world with health, wholeness, and happiness. Love, laughter, and letting go. Love, laughter, and letting go. Praise the good and raise the world with love, laughter, and letting go. Well, wonder and willingness. Well, wonder and willingness. Praise the good and raise the world with love, wonder, and willingness. Health, wholeness, and happiness. Health, wholeness, and happiness. Praise the good and raise the world with health, wholeness, and happiness. Praise the good and raise the world with health, wholeness, and happiness.
Good morning. I am so glad that you're here with me this morning. It is a terrific day, particularly because our board member, Hannah Dawson, is getting married today. She and her beloved Jamie Mason are this afternoon. They're getting married. So big shout out, big happy wedding blessing day to Hannah and to Jamie. My name is Reverend Martha Quintana. I'm the senior minister here at the Rio Grande Center for Spiritual Living, and I'm so glad that you're here to join us. We are right now talking about a complaint free world, and I'll get into that a little bit more a little bit later. And so, knowing that these services never happen all by ourselves, I'd like to give a big shout out to all of the people who are behind the scenes helping us. Well, you've met our musicians already, and they are amazing and fantastic. Holding high watch today are Greg Gardner, Teresa Greco. We have Kathy Mathiasen, Julia Washington, Toby Pope. There are so many people that are holding our highest and best out there. Invocation today is Chaplain Telia Hiron. And on audio and technical, we have, of course, our IT goddess, Annette Martinez, and our dude on the soundboard, my beloved Mason Cressley. And so just a whole bunch of people, and of course, our whole congregation holding the highest and the best for each other. For isn't a congregation is about its people. The heart, the hands, the soul of a congregation are about its people, and our people are amazing. We are an amazing spiritual community. So with that, I'd like to invite Tilia Hiron in to do our invocation.
Thank you. So I ask you all to drop into that spirit within, that spirit of the divine heart space, where we know that really all is love, health, wholeness, and happiness. For we are made of this divine essence, that allows us, invites us, and especially sometimes challenges us to know that we are the creators of our lives with our thoughts. And so this day, I ask you to lay down whatever would come between you and the message here today, between you and your heart, between you and your power, between you and that divine essence within you, to know that great God or goddess that you are indeed within. And so from that God or goddess space, may you know health, love, divine prosperity in all its aspects, and be able to experience the gifts that you bring, that you are endowed with and created with, and that you mold and fashion through the brilliance of your heart, your spirit, and your mind. And know that within this spirit, there is divine health and there is wellness. And you can bring yourself to live a complete, free life, knowing that that wholeness of mind that lets go of complaints brings you to an even greater wellness within, wellness within, wellness without, and that gets integrated within your entire mind, body, spirit panorama. So this morning, I welcome you all here to the Rio Grande Center for Spiritual Living in its many congregational forms, and invite you to enjoy spirit with us in the context of this expanded world and the expansion of ourselves. So please say with me, and so it is.
Thank you, Telia. That was beautiful. Now is the time for our spiritual reading. And so I'm reading today from The Art of Life by Ernest Holmes, an incredible book, wonderful book. And in it, on page 98, he says, if you have grasped the simple truth that a positive statement can neutralize a negative one, then begin by making the positive statement in simplicity and complete faith. Enjoy. Go within yourself to meet this life. Expect it to respond. Know that it is going to have no anxiety. Relax and trust. Believe. Don't deny it. Begin with whatever affirmative and constructive thinking you have and build on that. Refuse to dwell in the darkness of unbelief. Refuse to dwell in the darkness of unbelief. Refuse to be overcome by negative suggestions. Boldly step through the place of doubt and plant your feet on the solid rock of faith. With that, I turn our service over to our very own Kamatara and the wonderful musicians.
Thanks, Reverend Martha. So a shout out to Ken, who's visiting his mom in Las Cruces this morning. So I'm sure BJ, as he was driving past your house in TRC, I'm sure Ken waved. And so much love to him. And I'm very grateful to have Andrew Cooper on vocals. And of course, keeping me honest on the drums. Very, very wonderful musicians. And I also know, thinking about our next song, it's another Ricky Byers song. I don't know, I was feeling my Ricky Byers today. So, but I love this song because I know that I can't, while I might not always be able to control what happens, I can choose the experience that I have of that. So we're gonna do a little I'm choosing heaven today. And it's a fun little sing-along. So it's like a game. Whatever word you hear, like you sing it back, it'll be fun. Here we go. Okay. So
I'm choosing heaven today.
Choosing heaven.
I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing, I'm choosing heaven today. I'm choosing joy today.
Choosing joy.
I'm choosing joy today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing, I'm choosing joy today. I'm choosing love today.
I'm choosing love.
I'm choosing love today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing, I'm choosing love today. I'm choosing peace today.
I'm choosing peace.
I'm choosing peace today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing, I'm choosing peace today. I'm choosing beauty today.
I'm choosing beauty.
I'm choosing beauty today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing, I'm choosing beauty today. I'm choosing heaven today.
I'm choosing heaven.
I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing, I'm choosing heaven today. I am walking the road of heaven right now, singing, I'm choosing heaven today.
Oh, thank you so much. We have begun a book called A Complaint-Free World, Living the Life You've Always Wanted by Will Bowen. Now, the thing about a complaint-free world is that it's like cigarette smoke. That's what Bowen says. It's like cigarette smoke in the 50s and 60s. When everyone smoked, no one really noticed. And so people would walk in, it'd be all right. But as time has gone on, people don't smoke anymore. So now when we walk into a place where someone's been smoking, maybe someone's house, their car, we really notice it because we don't do that anymore. The same is true for a complaint. If everyone is complaining and that is the way that we do things, that is our habit. He says that when we get away from it, then we begin to see that, like cigarette smoke, it might be a little distasteful. It's distasteful. And what I noticed with myself this week, because it's an immersion into a spiritual practice, yes, it's saying I choose not to curse anyone anymore by complaining about them. I choose not to curse anyone or anything by choosing not to complain about them. Because remember, and we talked about this last week, remember, our first relationship is with our thoughts. So if I am thinking about this person and I begin to speak in a complaining tone, I've begun to curse them. But truly, I'm cursing my own thoughts. John Cage says, I live for home is first in my body, which then allows me to fly. I have home inside of my body, and that allows me to fly. Illness itself is not a thing. Our being, and I'm going beyond the body, our being is a self-correcting feedback system. Our being is a self-correcting feedback system. So what happens is that when there is an illness, we are signaling to ourselves that something is wrong. The cause is never in the body. Can you hear me with that? The cause is never in the body. The illness is only a sign pointing to something wrong. The cause is in our thoughts. That's a hard one, Reverend Martha. I know it. And here's why it's so rough, because some of these thoughts began even unconsciously with our families. It's something, even if you go to the doctor says, "What do you have a history in your family? Have a history of heart disease? Have a history of cancer? Have a history of something?" And they go, "Oh, well, you are predisposed to those things. Are you sure you don't have it?" We have something psychosomatic in science of mind. We have kind of a leg up from other faith traditions in that we know that there's a mind body connection, psychosomatic, psycho meaning of the mind, soma meaning of the body. So, psychosomatic, most of the diseases are psychosomatic. And the truth is that we choose, we do choose. I'll give you an example. A few years ago, a friend of mine called me. He was in the hospital and he wanted me to come and pray with him. The doctors had told him that it was critical and that they didn't expect him to make it. And he said, "I don't believe that. Please come." And so I went to his room and I sat next to his bed and I prayed with him. And it was a powerful prayer. It was a prayer that was so profound to me. I could feel the very molecules in the room move. Now, the important thing to remember about this prayer, it wasn't because I prayed for him, but it was because he accepted the prayer that he made a miraculous recovery. The doctor said, "Oh, it's a miracle. We don't know why. Maybe they had the right treatments and they sent him home." Well, a couple of years after that, he called me again, or I actually got a call. He didn't call me. I got a call that he was in the hospital. So I went down to see him and I walked into his room and he instantly said, "You have to leave." And I was going, well, not even, it wasn't like there was no hello there. There was no greeting. His thing was, "You have to believe. You have to leave right now." And what was interesting, and this is, now looking back at that situation, for the year prior to that, he kept saying to me, "Reverend Martha, I'm going home. I'm going home soon. I'm going to visit my mother." He had an elderly mom. He said, "I'm going to visit my mother and I'm going home." And so when I walked into his room and he said, "You have to go." And I said, "Well, what's going on? Are you okay?" He goes, um, "They're coming to give me a bath." And I said, "Oh, that's all right. I'll wait for you outside till you're finished." And he goes, "No, you have to leave." And so it was puzzling, but I left. The next day he called to ask me to do a couple of things for him. And so I said, "Okay." And then about 2 hours after that, he passed away. Now, what was interesting about that is I was actually in the hospital when he passed away. And after they had pronounced that he had passed, I was sitting with him, and one of the doctors who had admitted him came in and said, "He wasn't supposed to die. What he came in with wasn't enough to kill him. He wasn't supposed to die." But he had chosen to die. And now, with the benefit of looking back, I see that when he asked me to leave the room, he didn't even want a chance of prayer. I mean, he did not even want a chance that I might have a prayer for him because he was going home. He had said that, he had pronounced it, he had told me that, and he was going home. Conversely, we've seen in our community that there are times when we pray for someone. We had a community member who came to us and he said he had stage 4 cancer. The doctors were telling him, "Get your affairs in order, stage 4 cancer." So he said, "Pray for me." By the time he got back to the doctor, they said, "Well, gosh, maybe stage 2 cancer. This is puzzling. I don't know how it got to be stage 2. And then by the time they went to do surgery on him, he had no stage cancer. There was no cancer left. Psychosomatic. There's a mind-body connection, something that happens when we accept what we have been doing. So this complaining and health knows. The author talks about a situation when he was 13 years old. He found the benefit of complaining. He realized that if he complained about the fact that he was too fat, that he wouldn't have to go out and meet girls, that he wouldn't have to go out and meet society. And how often have we done that? How often has it been that I have done something like that? I know I did. For me, it was first grade when I didn't want to be in PE class. And I told the PE teacher that my doctor had said I didn't need to be in PE class. Now, that was a total fib, but I didn't want to do it. And what's more, I got to sit out of PE class because I made this up. How often is there a benefit to this unhealthiness? And no one in their right mind, I understand it. People will say to me, I do not want to be sick, Reverend Martha. Why are you saying there must be some benefit to it? There was a woman that kept saying she wanted me to pray for her to get well, but she didn't seem to get well. And so I kept thinking there's something there. And I said, let's talk about this illness. What happens when you get sick? And she says, oh, my mother comes over, my children come over, they clean the house, I become special. My husband does chores around the house. I'm special, she said. And it turned out when she was healthy, she was not so special. She had to do all this herself. And so we began to work on asking her family for help with the chores so she wouldn't have to get sick. That's the benefit of sometimes the benefit of illness. The other thing that happens, and this is far more subtle, is that sometimes people begin to get well and they've lived with that illness for so long that they begin to see it beginning to leave and they go, oh my God, I really am getting better. But who am I without the illness? And so they keep calling it back in. And then it goes out a little further and then, oh my God, who am I without this illness? What will I have to do? There is a benefit to complaining, this bum knee, this bum shoulder, or an elbow or a shoulder. The health is a quality of the spirit. That's the truth. The resulting illness is an effect. It's not the cause, it's the effect. And so finally, Will Bowen says to us, he says, there's this thing called fake it till you make it, but he takes us to task over that. He says, no, we begin to act like the person that we want to be. He says in his book, he says, ask yourself, he says, there is no such thing as fake it till you make it. As pithy as this trite little rhyme is, it is not applicable to personal transformation. As soon as you begin to acting like the person you wish to become, you are that person. The moment you begin acting like the person you wish to become, you are that person. The first step to being different is to act like the person you aspire to become. It is the first step towards self-mastery. To trivialize this most important of actions by calling it faking it misses the point. You're not faking it. You are being it, even if only momentarily, and even if only in a limited way compared to your ideal. So today we give up faking it till we make it. In fact, we become it. So here's how this thing works. So everyone who's come down gets this great little bracelet. It says Rio Grande Center for Spiritual Living on it. And each time that we complain, then we have to switch wrists. This week I made it almost 2 full days without complaining. And here's what happened. I gave a complaint in a lighthearted way. It was like a little cute way to complain. And then I caught myself and I thought, oh, did I just complain? I just complained. And then I had to stop myself from complaining about complaining. So here it is. I am becoming aware, and this is what he calls, this is what Bowen, the author, calls unconscious incompetence. He says, as we move out of this, as we move out of the health aspect, then it's going to be conscious incompetence. So, unconscious incompetence is that we don't even realize that we're doing it. And so, this week, well, the last 2 or 3 weeks, I've become really aware of how often I do it. And he says we're moving into conscious incompetence, which means that we become aware that we're doing it. So this week, if you haven't gotten a handy dandy little bracelet, come on down to the center. CJ can make sure that you get one. And the way it works is that you keep it on the wrist. Now, I've had this one on for a day and a half, and I am going for 2 days today. I am going for it. But if I do somehow mess up, well, it's not really messing up. I'm becoming conscious. Then I switch it over to my next wrist. So that's what we're doing. So this week, just become conscious. First relationship is with your, I know what you said, thoughts. The first relationship is with our thoughts. And so if we complain that we are actually, even though it's about something or someone out here, we are cursing ourselves. Our first relationship with our thought, the thought of the person, the thought of the institution, and we carry our homes inside of us. And the extent to which we can internalize that home, that beautiful thought, is the extent to which we fly. So this week, my God, join me in a complaint-free world. Bless this world because it so needs it. Namaste. All right. It is our prayer time. So please, practitioners, wherever you are, if you would just stand and envision circling our entire congregation. And know with me that in this moment, all there is health. All there is love and joy. For all of the qualities of the divine, even though we see them as separate qualities, they are part of the one. And there is only one spirit. And no matter the name we know it by, creator, God, goddess, mother, father, Pachamama, no matter the name it is called, peace, joy, divine, there is only one. And in this moment, I am one with the one. I am one with that divine, so holy and fully, profoundly aligned with this one, that anything that does not rise to this level falls away, never to return. For truly, I am blessed. And as I know this divine blessing for me, I know it for each person who is watching me now and later. Each person here is divinely blessed, so holy and perfectly unified with the one, that anything that does not rise to the level of the one falls away, never to return. All illness, all anxiety, all fear, all disbelief. I affirm and declare in this moment health. For every person who is watching, who is seeking health, health arrives. And as we move each of us out of that darkness of disbelief, we are each given that gift of eternal life, for we are in that awareness. I affirm and declare in that first relationship with our thoughts that they are thoughts of goodness, thoughts of profound blessing and joy, thoughts that allow each of us to rise to the highest level, for no longer do we curse anyone or anything, and most of all, ourselves, but we hold ourselves high. Allow the spirit that indwells us to remain in the sacred and the holy, for it is in that realization that each of us arrive back to health. I am so grateful. And in this blessing, I place Hannah Dawson and her beloved Jamie Mason, and know that today is the beginning of a beautiful marriage, that they spend their lives together in pure bliss, and that if there be any obstacles to it, that they fall away right now, and that they live together happy as they create their new family. I am grateful today. Grateful for this community called the Rio Grande Center for Spiritual Living. Grateful that each of us arrive here and that we are walking the spiritual path shoulder to shoulder, and that this path now encompasses the world. I am so grateful. And so it is with great, great gratitude that I release my word, knowing it cannot come back to me void, knowing that as I've spoken, it is done. And so it is. Ah, thank you. Ah, thank you. Now is the time during our service where we share our abundance with each other, and know this. No matter the appearance, each of us is incredibly abundant. And I am so grateful that you are sharing your abundance with us. You can do it. You can share your financial abundance with us by text, by going to our website and doing it by PayPal. And so if you would just take your contribution, and if it's virtual, just know that it's in your heart and say with me, I am profoundly blessed. I am blessed by my blessing. My blessings are as abundant as the stars, and so I give and receive generously. And so it is. Thank you. With that, I turn it over to our musicians.
Thanks, Reverend Martha, and thank you all so much for sharing your bounty with the spiritual community so we can continue to do the awesome work that we do and supporting each other on the journey. And I love this next song because when things are getting a little rough and I'm trying not to complain, I've got my bracelet too, and the poo hits the fan and things get gnarly, then I just go back to my standard prayer, which is, okay, I show up as love. I am love and more love. I show up as love. And I was wondering what song we should do, and Ken and I were walking in Walgreens, and no joke, this song came on, and I was like, oh, I guess that's the song we're supposed to be doing. Here it is, just in the middle of a store. So I love this song. All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4.
Of a fellow man, and my helping hand. Put a little love in your heart. You see it's getting late. Oh, please don't hesitate. Put a little love in your heart, and the world will be a better place. And the world will be a better place for you and me. Just wait and see. Another day go by and still the children cry. Put a little love in your heart. The world to know you won't let hatred go. Put a little love in your heart, and the world will be a better place. And the world will be a better place for you and me. Just wait and see. Wait and see. Take a good look around, and if you're feeling down, put a little love in your heart. I hope when you decide that this will be your guide, put a little love in your heart, and the world will be a better place, and the world will be a better place for you and me. Just wait and see. Put a little love in your heart. Put a little love in your heart. Put a little love in your heart. Put a little love in your heart.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your contributions. And I know with you and with me right now that every single dollar that is contributed goes out now into the world to support this message of science of mind, to support this community and knowing that love is, that the only thing there is love, and that love is all around, in, as, and through us. And it is that love that forms the world, and it is in that love that the world heals. And so that happens right now with these contributions. And likewise, every single dollar that is given flows back into the coffers of the giver, and those dollars multiply 10 million fold, that each person might know what it is to live in complete and total abundance. For that, I'm so grateful. And so it is. Amen. All right, thank you. If you are new today, this is the first time that you're joining us, welcome. I am so grateful that you're here. Please take some time to look at our website, rgcsl.org, and you can know a little bit more about us. We are part of Centers for Spiritual Living, and we study a philosophy called Science of Mind. It is a new thought philosophy. It's well, if I do say myself, it is a great way to live. So thanks for joining us today. Also, just a quick announcement. Next week is our annual meeting, and our board has been hard at work getting that annual meeting started. At the annual meeting, we will be voting on new board members, and these will be folks that will be representing us all through the next year. Also, the transformation team. There will be a report from the transformation team, what's going on with the search for the new minister. As you know, I'm retiring mostly at the end of the year, but by the end of February, I'll be retiring. And already our congregation is hard at work looking for someone for a new minister. And please get involved. It's really in the involvement of our congregation that we will find just the right minister that will take us forward, take us to the new level. So please, that's next week. We're going to be doing it on Zoom, and we will be sending out a link this week to everyone. If you have not been receiving our notifications for Facebook or for the Sunday service, please let us know, and we will get you on the list so that you can be part of the annual meeting next week. And then finally, we are the numbers have been skyrocketing here in New Mexico around the coronavirus. It's unprecedented, and we were tied with Michigan apparently for number 2 in the country for skyrocketing rates of coronavirus. So not a good thing. Anyway, our governor is taking on a week by week basis to see what we can do to contain this. And so what this means for us is that we're monitoring the governor's recommendations week by week. This week we were supposed to, as you know, have a drive-in. We felt it was in the highest and best of our congregation to cancel that. And we have been as conservative as we can be because we want to make sure that everyone stays healthy, that when we do get back together, that no one is missing, that everybody comes back together and everyone is here back in full health and full form. So anyway, so we're keeping an eye on things. We may end up having to go home again. I don't know what's going to happen, but we're taking on a week by week basis. So let's pray together about all of that. I would like for this coronavirus to go away right now. So anyway, thank you for being with us today. I am so grateful for you. Bless you, bless you. Please meet me in the Zoom room as our social hall, and we'll go from there. And with that, take it away, band.
Red roses too, I see them bloom for me, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world.